Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Thursday. It's August 28th. This will be our chart listen for the day. And real quickly, a look at our daily chart. You can see we did break higher, making all-time highs again today. This market just keeps going higher. Um, I really thought we'd have a harder time getting through that 6,500 level than that, but we pushed on through it today. Now, we did push through and pull back, push through and pull back a few times before it finally went higher. But we closed higher today, closed at an all-time new high. This market just keeps on pushing up. So don't argue with it. Be careful trying to short this market because you can obviously if there's a short setup on the 2,000 tick chart, that's different than trying to get in any kind of long term. When I say be careful trying to short it, I'm talking more long term because as long as it's mixed or you got a good trend down, by all means you got to take shorts. So um, don't misunderstand my point there. So anyway, there it is on the daily chart. Very bullish, almost closed at the high. Let's flip over to the 2,000 tick chart, take a look at it, and go through the trades, and we'll wrap this day up in this week. Okay, real quickly before we get started on our trades and chart for the day, 2,000 tick chart. Monday is a holiday, so no trading on Monday. It's going to be a long weekend. Um, I'll probably take off about noon on Friday, and I won't be back until Tuesday morning. So I will see you on Tuesday, and enjoy the long weekend. So I told you I'd let you know about that, and that's it looks like we are closed Monday for Labor Day. So anyway, here's the chart. Looked like we were going to be, we really were in an uptrend since right around just before 9 o'clock this morning. I would still call this a range day until we broke higher, and it failed a couple of times before it finally succeeded in going higher, and then we just kind of chopped sideways late in the afternoon. And we did close close to the highs though, so we'll just have to see what tomorrow brings. But anyway, let's zoom in here. We did have some news this morning. We had the unemployment claims and GDP right around 7:30. So I didn't mark out that part of that part of the chart. Nothing really transpired much after that. So you just kind of had to sit and wait for something to set up. And it was well after 8:30. Notice we had this run. We didn't get a chance to go long here, but we did turn down, and of course, no real good setup. You really need a lower high here. I mean, you could argue for a green right there, but that was a brand new high, so it's dangerous going short there, especially with that being the first break and only one leg up, because a lot of times you get two legs up. And now, if you'd had a good signal bar here, I'd say maybe you risk that as at least a green, but we don't get that. So you got to wait on something better than that. But notice we got a trend working now. We get a close outside the new low here, and it looks like we're going to head higher. I didn't draw this one, but you got a trend working up, close outside the new high. And you could also argue you got a triple test there. So I like going short. Quick, easy move. Coming back, you don't have enough room to get out, so you really can't take that one. I think you have to skip that one, and then it just turns down again and takes off. That one's just a first entry. Notice on this move down here, you do get a close outside and a couple legs to a new low, and then we're just chopping sideways again. You got a possibility here, but again, I think you're better off to wait because we're still in this downtrend. So, if you had a close outside the new low, maybe you might risk uh, going long there. You need a higher low, and you can't go long here all the way into these highs. So it's just looking sideways. But notice here you do have a triple test right at the EMA, right at the resistance line. Plenty of room to get out. I like that setup. That's a nice move down. And then you get the failed breakout. You do have a higher low here. It's a possibility. I did not mark that one, but you could argue for that to be green. But when we make this next higher one that closes back inside the range as well, Now you've tried to go short twice and failed, so you're probably headed back to the trend line now. So I like that one, just to ride this back up to the other side of the range. And then, of course, it turns down there, turns back up, and it tests that again and gives you a nice bearish bar. I like just playing the range rules and taking another short there. Runs down to the other side. Unfortunately, you don't get a chance to go long here. You do get a break, but you don't make a new low either. So, which I thought that was kind of interesting, and we never do retest that low. But a lot of times on range days, that's what happens. You find your support, and guess where we did turn here? This was the close from yesterday. You can see where we closed yesterday, and when we opened, we were up here. So there was a gap on the chart. I didn't mention that this morning, but it's there, and so we filled that gap for the most part, and then we went higher. And so that's pretty typical. So you had to assume that this was probably one of our targets here, filling that gap. But we do break out here and trend higher. Notice you get a close outside, a couple of swings up, and you make a lower high. Plenty of room back to the EMA. I like going short there. It bounces again. We actually break out. It bounces yet again, but I don't see any setups there. This is too close to the lows. We break out again, another breakout here, but we are not getting any setups to really go long. There is a 2-bar matching low right there. Let me zoom in a little bit, but I don't think you can take that. Where was it? Right there, but it's still not the swing low, which is there. So I don't think you can take that trade. It's just an inside bar. Runs up. You do get a failed breakout here. It makes a new high and it closes outside where most of your touches were already. So I actually adjusted that up just a hair. I think I had it more like right along here or here. I can't remember where I had it, but I adjusted it up at some point when that closed. So because it closes outside what I think is where you're getting your most touches, I think you have to mark that one green. It's also still in that trend. It's probably going to fail on the breakout because prices may still try to retest this low, but you're better off to wait on a lower high. And then it runs down here, and you actually get a lower high here. You've actually had a little double bottom. You make a higher low here. Very bullish bar. I like going long there. And you don't know that it's going to take off. You're just looking to get a scalp back to the top of the range again there, or this tight range. This one kind of takes off, close outside new high, and you get a couple of swings to a new high. I actually like that trade to some degree. Again, you could probably argue for that to be green, because you do have your close outside and 2 legs up. Now somebody might say, what about this one? Well, at this point, you only have 1 leg up. You don't know where your target is here. You might expect at least a measured move that looks somewhat like this. So, and it's close. So maybe you take that trade. I mark that one green, but you wouldn't have wanted to take it yet on just that first swing. But when you get this second one, yeah, there's a lower high here, but no setup. And then did I talk about this trade? It's 2 legs back. And really, you can argue there's a 1, 2, 3 triple test too. So I like that second entry long. Just looking for it to still make this measured move and make a second leg up. But that's why you can't go short there, because you only have 1 leg up at that point. So you wouldn't even want to mark that green, most likely. It would have worked if you took it, but it's just not worth risking. Now, there is a lower high here, but there's not much room back to the EMA. So I'd sit tight. And then, of course, it runs up and turns back down. I like that one as a green. You do get a close outside and a new high all in 1 bar there. Again, the better plays the lower high, and you don't get a setup there. And then it makes another test here. So now you got a triple test right across this level. I think that signal bar closes in the upper 1/3. It's close. This is close to being green, but I liked it since it was 2 legs back as well. But when you make this high or low, you definitely want to go long there. And this thing takes off this time. Runs up, and then it just turns down. And it looks like the rally's over. But you get a close outside a new low, and the next thing you know, we're trending up the rest of the day. No chance to get long down here. This is tempting to go short. Coming back, finding resistance there. But I'd probably want to see one more time before I trusted that. It ends up being a nice move down, and then we're just kind of trenched inside, uh, stuck in this congested sideways action here. We break out here and fail, but it tries to come back a couple times and then takes off. Again, I don't see anything you can go long on right there. Runs up, and while that's tempting to go short, you're still in this trend. This trend line is obvious here, so just sit tight. And of course, you get a first entry and a break above. That's a second entry, but I don't think you have much room there. I don't really like that signal bar. It is a second entry technically because of the 2 bar matching high. You actually don't make another high there on that bar, so that could be considered a correction. But I just think there's not much room there. I'm not crazy about it. And you can see the momentum here. When we broke higher, it just ran a bunch of stops. A lot of people are taught to buy these breakouts, and it runs the stops, and when it runs out of momentum, boom, it falls right back down. Unfortunately, you don't really get a chance to go short there. You get a break, and then you get a few swings up here, and basically this is a double top, a lower high, multiple swings on a retest. But you're so far away from the EMI, I like going short there. And I think this is the trade that I demonstrated. I demonstrated a trade today. I'll put that up later tonight with another student trade, but I think it was that trade right there. I think that's where I went short. For some reason, my memory, it's a long day. I can't remember if that's it or not, but I think that's got to be it. Or maybe it was up here. I'm not sure. But I like that one all the same. I think this might be the one I demonstrated. I can't remember. But anyway, we start working higher again. You get your close outside, a couple of swings up. Unfortunately, this bar is too close to the lows in the EMA, and you see it saved you from a loser there. But it runs up, makes a double top, and it breaks out and fails, and it almost reaches that measured move and then turns down again. So a break there is probably going to at least bring it back to the EMA. We might get 2 legs down. We might even reverse there. And so I did try to get a runner here. Didn't work out for me again. I hadn't had much luck with the runners on any of my demonstrations. So, and this was a trend day, but yeah, that's not to be expected. I think I talk about it when I take this trade. My only real expectation is to get a scalp here, and you might catch a top. So it might be worth trying to get a runner, but doesn't mean you're going to get one. So even if it goes lower, it doesn't mean you're going to get a runner. So keep that in mind. But my expectation there was just for a scalp, nothing more. And if you get more out of it, great. But it ends up going lower here. You could draw your trend channel correction here. And I think it looks something like that. And then you do get a close outside and a new low, and then it reverses. This is after 2:30, so nothing else. So that would have been your last trade. So it was pretty good trading up to about lunchtime. And even though we went higher from there, we're just not, there's not much going on here. So it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is sometimes. But we had several trades in the morning. And for a range, mostly range part of the day till up in here, I would say was when it was obvious it wasn't going to be a range, closes a range. So it's still a mixed trading day. That ended up breaking higher before the day was over. So that's it. Again, I do have the trade I took and explained. We just went over it. I think this was it right here. Notice we get a close outside and you get a couple of swings up, but you don't get a chance to go short there. It never sets up. And then it pushes up here and makes a double top. I was hoping to get short right below this real small bar. It's only like 3 ticks. That would have been a great entry point, but it doesn't work out. It breaks higher, but I still think that closes low enough, and that's considered a failed break up higher there. And we've almost got a measured move. We're a little ways away from the EMA, so prices will probably at least come back to the EMA, and you may catch the top. So notice I marked that green. So most of you should probably stay away from that. Picking tops is really difficult. So most of you should stay away from those. But anyway, it runs down, close outside new low, and that takes you into 230. So there it is. That's how I saw it today. Again, I'll post this first, and then I'll have the two trades, and then I'll also show you a student trade from somebody different that sent me a trade that I haven't gotten one from before. So a couple of trades you'll get to watch again today, and look for those to come out a little bit after this, later this evening. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, and again, I won't see you again. I won't see you till Tuesday. It's going to be a long weekend. Hope everybody has a great extended holiday weekend, and if you're traveling, be safe. And I will see you on Tuesday. This is Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.